Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. And first of all, I want to apologise that I was forced to remove my previous LPG news video due to certain companies out there that may well make vessels to supply, or they supply vessels to store the LPG. They didn't like the information I was giving out. I went to see them to try and get their view of it, and just got called a barrage of names and hurled lots of abuse at. As a YouTuber who jumped on as well and decided he was going to stick his nose in it and come up with all sorts of BS as well. Sorry, I keep looking to my screen, but these notes I'm reading are taken off articles I found on websites of the LPG industry, and a lot of it is actually off government website as well. So if you are interested in reading any of these articles, there will be many links in the video description down below, but obviously I'm summarizing from those just to bring you the highlights to back up the story, which is the demise of LPG on the forecourts that you and I consider high street forecourts in the UK. So let's get into it. Right, in the UK there are currently around 507 verified LPG filling stations that are available to the public, and those may be ones on the high street, like a normal recognized petrol station if you like, or it could well be an independent who's just got an LPG pump. That network, it's saying, isn't very widespread, and it does leave a lot of the country short of supply for LPG. In 2021 that station number was 610, and in 2018 that figure was almost 1,900, so almost a quarter of what it used to be just a few years ago. Now, again, reading from information available from the Office of National Statistics, there are well over 8,500 UK fuel stations serving diesel and petrol, but only 4.3% of them sell LPG, which roughly equates to 0.2% of road fuel demand, vehicle demand, commercial vehicles, private vehicles, whatever. So yeah, LPG accounts for 0.2% of our UK fuel needs. Obviously there are independent retailers of LPG. They may well be on industrial estates, farms. Some motorhome dealers are also adding them to their motorhome networks, but most aren't open 24 hours a day, and worse still, they may well only be open during like normal work hours on work days. Some won't be open on Saturdays or Sundays, or definitely even just Sundays, which is a problem if you work during the day and then at the weekend you want to go out and fill up your vehicle with LPG. Some of these places won't be open at those times because, well, they want time off as well, because unlike a fuel station on the high street, there might be a family run business or a little company and they don't want to staff it because it's not profitable for them. The consumption of LPG in 2019 was 61,000 tonnes. That was roughly half of its peak in 2008, which was 120,000 tonnes. There were 105,000 LPG capable vehicles in the UK last year, and that was down from 170,000 in 2011. So 65,000 less vehicles being powered by LPG. Now if that were to continue at that rate, there'd only be a few more years until there was no LPG powered cars around, and that would probably be really, really bad at that stage for the LPG industry. It would probably turn into then just providing LPG for leisure vehicles, and also domestic homes. Some of those run their boilers off LPG as well. In a further statement from the CMA, which is the Competition and Markets Authority, it said the MFG, which are the people who run a lot of the fuel stations, motor fuel stations group, submits that an auto LPG is no longer an important product category for modern petrol stations. due to a continued industry-wide decrease in demand. This decrease in demand means the revenues are low and will continue to decline, therefore making any continued investment, including periodic testing of the facilities, commercially unviable. So what they're basically saying is, yeah, it's tough in this market, but there are also ongoing costs. So everything that dispenses something that we're sold and we buy has to be measured and has to meet standards. So therefore, every so many months, the forecourt services have to have their petrol, diesel and LPG checked. So the pump's dispensing the amount of liquid that it's supposed to. So the volume goes through. It's the same volume that you paid for ultimately. And those costs are obviously increasing because everything's increasing. So what MFG is saying is that it's probably going to get to a point where they're no longer going to invest, they're no longer going to refresh that equipment or repair the equipment or even get it tested when it's due to be tested, due to the lack of demand and the lack of revenue. Basically it goes on also to say that the MFG group have purchased Morrison's, and unfortunately they made a statement at the same time that says MFG plans to remove auto LPG from all of its sites between 2022 and 2024. Basically what they're saying is that there's such a low demand from LPG that they're going to start removing LPG from all of their sites between 2022 and 2024. I know we're going down tangents now, and I'm sorry if this is boring, but I was threatened with legal action. I had to remove a video, and I got nosy, stupid YouTubers in on this, and I got a load of grief from people, and I feel it's only right and proper that I defend myself. And I do so by using information, as I did last time, that is freely available on the internet if you're clever enough to find it. Again, that's just essentially being able to type and use Google for those who aren't clever enough to find it. So I just want to give that information back to you in a format that hopefully you can understand, with many links to official organisations. Obviously the government doesn't see LPG as being important fuel supply in the UK. It goes through its stats every year and tells you how much fuel's been used by petrol stations or private individuals, or how many tanks of the stuff came in the UK. And LPG doesn't figure in any of those stats. It's such a small percentage that they just don't count it. They don't see LPG as being important enough to even validate our sales, our purchases or whatever else of LPG, which is it's pretty crap if you're dependent on it for your leisure or maybe for your house or whatever. And with that said, there is a petition to make the government hear everybody's word about why the hell they're doing this to LPG. So I'm going to link down below as well to change.org. There is a save LPG petition. So yeah, I'll link that down below, so you can go online, sign the petition, and then once it gets over so many petition signatures, the government then have to give it time in Commons and discuss it. Again, what I was saying in the video last time was about Caligas, that Caligas had recently announced it was going to stop selling, which meant purchasing new and exchanging empty for full 4 gas type bottles: the Cube, the 3.9 kilogram propane, the 4.5 kilogram butane, the 6 light propane and 12 kilogram butane will all be discontinued. So yeah, that's just another little nail in the coffin of gas for the leisure industry, sort of portable gas for the leisure industry really, which was why I was making a point, that some of you took the wrong way about camping gas, because not only can you get stuff like this, but they do the bottles with different regulators that you could then potentially hook up to your van and run your van from it with a normal regulator, rather than going down the route of Gallagher and all these other companies that might do it, that you might struggle, because camping gas is available almost everywhere, especially in outdoor shops and that kind of stuff. So yeah, just another option. That's all I was trying to say last time about, you're trying to sell us something, John. I'm not trying to sell anything. It's a difficult one, but if you believe I'm trying to sell you something in this video, then perhaps sit back for a moment and understand that others are sat there going, right, what did you just show me then, John? Because I need one of them. And then there'll be hundreds of comments. John, I need one of them. Where do I get one? So rather than doing it that way, I just turn around and go, that's what this is. This is the EcoFlow River 2 Pro, and it'll run your fridge. It'll run your Truma on electric one, which is half power. So you can get hot water and heat in for a little bit and keep your fridge cool for a little bit. You can run your straighteners or an air fryer or induction hob or whatever for a little bit on this. Obviously you can get bigger ones, but that's all that was about. Just trying to educate people. Loads of people just use this anyway in a camper van. For me, it's my backup. Same as that battery pack. Or not that one exactly. I've got a Delta 2. But they are my backups for my normal power systems. So I'm just telling you what I'm using, so you can go on the internet and find out yourself. Again, it's one of those other things that I want to talk about as well. I mentioned electric. Campsites are moving to metered electric. Again, a 35 quid campsite might well charge you 5 or 6 quid extra a night for unmetered electric, but it's now becoming quite commonplace for metered electric. And they'll want you to come up to the campsite reception. No offense to anybody that works on a campsite, but predominantly they are retirees, and they may not be au fait with the latest technology or how it works or whatever else. It's just been chucked on them by the clubs. You've got to do this. You've got to sell prepaid meter cards, and they're doing their very best to keep up with all what's going on. But one thing, don't expect them to know exactly how much electric you're going to use over a 24-hour period, and then turn that into a quantifiable monetary amount. What they'll probably do is give you a card. They may well charge you for the card and ask you just to top up a £5 or a £10. You then get to your pitch, pop the card in the little meter. You might find that somebody else has been very nice and left you 3 or 4 quid on, because they over-egged it as well, because no, they didn't know. But then you're like, is 3 or 4 quid enough though? Did they put 10 quid on or 20 quid? Oh, and how long did they stay for? So you put your meter in and blah blah blah, and you leave the next day and maybe there's another 6 quid left. Maybe there's 10 quid left this time. This is just going to be something we're all just going to have to figure out. There's no easy answer to that. But I make these videos and I open these discussion points because that's what I believe being part of this community is all about. It's not about just, sitting there and telling you how to do something in the workshop and this is how this was made, because that doesn't really add value to anybody that does one thing. Whereas hopefully by opening these points of discussion and having these chats with you, raising awareness of certain things, it makes for a better community. I've seen you all in the comments down below chatting to each other and sharing information and stuff like that. I'm fine with that. That's exactly what I want. What I don't want though is all the people who say, oh well, expect to get loads of crap anyway, you're on YouTube, what do you expect? Well, that's like saying every time you walk down the street you should expect everybody in that street to punch you in the face. And are they allowed to do that? Should they be allowed to do that? Should anyone stop them? If 50 people came up to you and punched you in the face at the same time, you couldn't stop them, even if you've got a big nose. But there's a point, isn't there, where you have got to decide if you're going to be a nice person and not punch that person in the face, i.e. not leave your snotty, stupid comment down below, or you're just going to join in with the idiots and, just go around punching people in the face because you can get away with it. But anyway, one thing that some of the idiots said was, don't be stupid, John, they won't take an LPG pump from the forecourt and have a car park there charging for 45 minutes. And that's because obviously you've not got the capacity to think outside of your little tiny box. So essentially what you're seeing is the refillable kind of side of LPG where the nozzle is and the pump. What you're not actually seeing is the massive LPG tank that's somewhere else on the premises. And once that LPG tank's put in situ, it's then protected for obviously gas leaks and everything else, so no one really goes near it. But it takes up a lot of space. And you might find that maybe 3 or 4 cars can park in that space and charge. With that said, that's more profitable for a garage to get 3 or 4 cars there for 45 minutes charging than it is to get 1 car every 4 hours filling up for LPG for 2 minutes. If they've got a sandwich shop in the petrol station or they're selling snacks and that kind of thing and coffee, they're going to make more money out of that EV charging point than they are about us, you, filling up with LPG. So I just wanted to make that point to clear that one up because that seemed to have confused a lot of people.